Well, that was fucking stupid.
So they make it to the village, and remember when I said this was a good scene? Well, what I meant was this is a good scene up until this point. Because Michael Bay is like a 5-year-old with ADHD. God forbid he films a single scene with one particular mood for more than a minute. No, he has to keep switching them up.
Emergency Pentagon call. I need you. Do you understand this is an emergency? I don't have a credit card!
Sir, the attitude is not going to speed things up any bit at all. I'm going to ask you to speak into the mouthpiece very clearly.
I'm in the middle of a war! Friggin' ridiculous!
Why would you put that in this scene? And it's not just that one part. That joke goes on for a while, with several intricate parts to it. At this point in the movie with an action sequence like this, you should have your audience on the edge of their seat with their butt cheeks clenched tight, eyes glued to the screen, wondering if these guys are going to make it out or not. Not laughing at a fucking credit card joke, and that's assuming they find it funny, because I sure as hell didn't.
I mean, think about it. What if, during the sinking boat scene in the Titanic, Cameron decided to throw in some fucking slapstick?
We have to stay on the ship as long as possible. Come on. I got you. Joe.
I got you, miss.
It's a cookbook. It's a cookbook.
Doesn't have quite the same impact, does it?
Oh, and a ha Middle Eastern suck on the phone and they work for the telephone company. Ha another racist joke. Go fuck yourself. They managed to get in touch with the Air Force, who bombs the shit out of Scorponok, blowing off his tail, and providing the Secretary of Defense with vital intel. Speaking of defense, the analyst who discovered the hack takes classified information to one of our hacker friends played by Anthony Anderson because, I don't know, Michael Bay felt he needed more comedy relief.
Get off my grandmama's carpet! She don't like nobody on the carpet, especially police!
I'd just like to take this moment to say, Michael Bay, you have some serious issues.
Back to Sam. You know, for someone who's supposed to be an important character in this movie, you don't see too much of him. Wait, why am I complaining about that? I take it back. They should show less of him. In fact, cut him out altogether, and I guarantee, you know what? This would be a much better movie! Anyway, he's being chased by Bumblebee. It's funny because earlier he was chasing the car, and now the car's chasing him! Go suck my balls. While trying to elude Bumblebee, he runs into Michaela, who for some reason decides to follow him. You know, there was a fast food restaurant that sold toys for these at the time. I wish I could remember which one it was. The two run into a Decepticon named Barricade, who asks him about his great-great-grandfather's glasses, and have to be rescued by Bumblebee. After another good action scene turned to shit for the same reason as before, we finally get verbal interaction with Bumblebee, who for some reason Michael Bay decided to have him talk in sound bits.
So you talk through the radio?
Actually, you do. You're wonderful, you're wonderful.
So what was that last night? What was that?
Message from Starfleet.
Throughout the inanimate vastness of things.
God, it's like sitting next to that annoying passenger who's constantly pushing the surge button on the radio during a long road trip. Oh, and by the way, I don't remember Star Trek ever being on the fucking radio.
This is damn peculiar.
While taking them to meet the rest of the Autobots, Michaela calls Bumblebee a piece of shit, so he decides it's time for a makeover.
Now just add some kick-ass music. And there's your new 2007 Camaro commercial.
Once they meet up with the rest of the Autobots, we get more backstory. Yay, how nice. Apparently, Sam's great-great-grandfather accidentally found Megatron frozen in the Earth, having crash-landed in the Arctic while looking for the cube. He somehow managed to infuse the coordinates of the cube onto his glasses, which is why everybody's after him.
And to make a long story short, too late!
If the Decepticons get the cube, they're going to use it to, you guessed it, take over the world.
Of course!
Sam Witwicky, you hold the key to Earth's survival.
Please tell me that you have those glasses.
Yeah, actually, my dad hawked that at a pawn shop the other night to pay for my bail. My bad.
They go to Sam's house to get the glasses, and we get a sequence of events I don't understand. How hard is it for them to stay transformed and parked in the street and wait for Sam to come back? It's not like he's been gone 20, 30 minutes. It's been less than 2 minutes and already they're walking around following behind him.
Mojo, off the robot!
Look, a pee joke involving a dog and a robot. I don't know if I should laugh or just cry.
I'm sure that's not going to come into play later on in the movie because, you know, Michael Bay has all the subtlety of a fucking jackhammer. And for fuck's sake, with all this commotion going on, not one of the neighbors notice any of this?
Judith, come quick. The wikis are at it again. Where is it now, Carl? Well, they seem to have a bunch of giant robots in their yard. Oh, for Pete's sake, did you take your medication today? Well, of course I took my medication today. Now it seems like the robots are turning into cars. I'll call the doctor in the morning to tell him up your dosage. Yeah, I think that'd be best.
And then we're subjected to one of the most horrendous forms of torture. A Witwicky family discussion.
Was I No, Mom!
But okay.
No, I don't masturbate.
That's not something for you to bring up. That's a father and son thing.
Son,
you don't have to...
Shut up! Shut up! Shut up!
Sam manages to find the glasses, but before he can give them to the Autobots, a group of men from a division called Sector 7 come in and arrest the family for having direct contact with aliens. This forces the Autobots to come and rescue them.
Are you not surprised to see us?
I'm not authorized to communicate with you, except to tell you I can't communicate with you.
Oh look, another pee joke. What's next? A poopy joke? Because I think I'm a little not 5 years old to be entertained by that.
Rock your Nepal.
This is such a felony what you're doing.
Close enough.
Unfortunately, reinforcements arrive and they capture Bumblebee. Because they can't rescue Bumblebee without hurting the humans, Prime says to let them go. Jesus, working for Prime has about as much job security as working for Vader.
Down to flight speed and we're preparing to... You have failed me for the last time, Admiral.
Okay, seriously, the people in this reality need to be wiped out.
I'm sorry, but how does nobody see these giant fucking robots on the top of the observatory in broad daylight? And what about the employees? None of them see them standing up there?
No, the people in this reality are just too stupid to be allowed to continue to live. At this point, I'm rooting for the Decepticons. Especially if it means wiping out the wikis.
The code on these glasses indicates the Allspark is 230 miles from here. I sense the Decepticons are getting ready to mobilize.
What, do they have the Force now?
Then, for some reason that I still haven't figured out, everything's a misunderstanding, everything is forgiven, and everybody's working together.
Well, isn't that special?
Turns out that Section 7 is in the Hoover Dam, and not only do they have the cube, but they have Megatron, who they keep frozen. Frenzy manages to sneak in, sabotaging the place and throwing out Megatron. After releasing Bumblebee, he shrinks the cube down, which leads to what I have to admit is a pretty good action sequence, and a rather entertaining climax. It's filled with excitement, tension, drama, suspense. It does manage to get you emotionally invested. The visuals are amazing, even if there are one too many scenes like this. Seriously, Michael, these scenes are not impressive and leave no impact on the audience other than it was in the commercial. And best of all, no slapstick. See, Michael, you can do it. You just fucking choose not to. They give Sam the cube and tell him to take it to a transport area where the Air Force is supposed to pick it up, but Megatron is hot on his trail.
I'm never giving you this Allspark!
Oh, so unwise. I got you, boy.
So it's time for Optimus Prime and Megatron to have their epic climatic battle in which Optimus Prime looks like a pussy getting his ass handed to him. Nice, Michael. This leaves Sam to save the day by shoving the Allspark into Megatron's chest, killing him. In conclusion, Sam gets the girl, the Autobots stay on Earth, they drop Megatron in the ocean instead of a active volcano. I don't know why anybody ever thinks of that. And we see Starscream fly off into space. Oh, and Bumblebee can talk now.
I wish to stay with the boy.
This movie isn't sure what it really wants to be.
It's not sure if it wants to be an action movie or a comedy. It's not an action comedy because you have to have a balance for it to be that, and there isn't one here. There are a few funny things here and there, but most of the comedy is just forced in there, and forced in the most odd places. There are a ton of unnecessary scenes in this movie as well. The scene with Sam selling his stuff in class, you can cut that out and lose absolutely nothing from the movie. The scene where he gets arrested, you can cut that out and lose nothing from the movie. Anthony Anderson's character, you can cut him out completely and lose absolutely nothing from the movie. I mean, does it really count as character development when nothing is developed? Not to mention, there are way too many characters in this movie. It's very rare I come across a film where the sub-characters have sub-characters. However, the basic story is a decent one, nicely tying everything together, making it a good introductory story to the franchise.
Unfortunately, this was the best one in the series, so it only goes downhill from here, folks. I'm Don Perignon, and even though it's probably too late when it comes to this series, saving you from getting ripped off.
Is it over? Hey look, Lennox made it home to his family. I'm sure they'll play an important role to the rest of the series.